And we're here with the second LT Gaming podcast in our history, I believe. And how you doing, Luke? We decided to jump on and just do a bit of end of year roundup. And how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I've enjoyed Christmas, enjoyed the break. Looking forward to what's coming next year. I mean, every year there's always exciting games coming. We play some pretty niche stuff on this channel, but I mean, we want to expand a little bit next year, go into some new areas, but also cover our niches like war games, space sims. It's been a pretty awesome year. We've gone far beyond expectations, and that's thanks to everybody out there.
Yeah, massive thanks to everyone who subscribed this year. I think we began the year around 8,000. We're looking around 31,000 end of year, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, I think we're going to do 31K, which is awesome. I mean, it's just been a really good year, and we've had great growth in our Discord. We've done key giveaways. It's been crazy. It's been a fun year for gaming. I mean, I've played a lot of games off the channel as well, which aren't related to the channel. So, I mean, really happy with that.
Yeah, and you've taken up drinking, I believe, for the Christmas period.
Yeah, I'm a little bit drunk, I'll be honest. I've had a few drinks. I'm not allowed. Tom got annoyed because I said I'm drinking pink gin. I mean, it's not good for my tough guy image, but I mean, there you go.
What image? What tough guy
I
image?
don't know. Just whatever. Too old for that these days.
No, but overall, what has been like a highlight for you with the channel? Is there a particular video or something that we've done that jump out to you?
There were a couple of things, right? So the upcoming series has been huge. Upcoming war games, upcoming space sims. I think you did RTS as well.
Yeah.
And then I did the Forgotten series, which took on a whole life of its own, which was really cool. And I kind of summarized those at the end of the year. And yeah, just a really good couple of series that we pulled together. And of course, Manor Lords kind of started that change on the channel, and then it went on from there. And yeah, I mean, so many good stuff this year, which just took us to another level, which was a lot of fun. And obviously the Discord growth, our community, LT Santa, LT Legion, all those different things that we've done and had fun with. So yeah, thanks to the Discord as well. What about you?
Yeah, massive thanks to Discord first off from me and our members who support us. I will show everyone's names on screen at this point. But yeah, for me, it all kicked off. It was fairly following the trend of the previous year. And then Manor Lords came along. I think it took both of us by surprise at how crazy the hype for that game was and how we managed to tap into that a bit. And then it just seemed like the channel scaled from there. Bit of, not dip mid-year, but we kind of evened out a bit mid-year, and then a nice spike towards the end of the year. But I've just really enjoyed the range of games that we brought to the channel. It feels like we can cover a lot more stuff and generate some traction, whereas previously we weren't able to cover half the games that we would like to have.
And I think that's where we're going to go next year, right? We're going to expand into RPG. I think there's a good synergy between war games and RPGs, like that turn-based element. There is a lot of strategy which crosses over. I've played so many great RPGs this year, which I haven't been able to feature on the channel. So that'll be great for me, expanding space games and kicking out some of these old crony space channels that keep keep us down. But yeah, I mean, also the fact that we got to 30K and we got out of what I would like to call, I'm not going to name any names, but the dregs of YouTube. We're starting to climb up the ranks a little bit out of some of the, the people who constantly post dramatic things and whatever it might be. We're getting up there in the gaming world. And I think once we get past 50K, 100K, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. And bringing all the games that we've played and the deep knowledge that we have is awesome. So yeah, I'm super psyched for next year. But I think we should jump in and talk about the games, right? Don't want to hear about us warble on about our success, and it's boring.
Yeah, but one thing I want to ask you is, where do you think we end next year?
I'd like to go above 50K. I'd like to double. 60K would be my goal. I would really love to be above 100, but who knows? YouTube's a fickle game. We're both happy to be here. We're both living kind of a second career with this. So it's great. We're having a wonderful time. And I think engaging with our community has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. So I'm thinking around the same. Like, if we could double, I'd be ecstatic with that. And then I also think growing the Discord now would be a priority, because I see the amount of cool interactions we get that way, and I just think that's a great avenue for us to keep developing. But let's jump into games. I'll let you kick things off with what is we're going
Well,
to
I'm
do.
going to go with my favorite game of the year, and it's sort of a game, and it's kind of an experience as well. It was Dystopica, so it's a cyberpunk city builder, which was took me by surprise. Kind of my dream immersion, setting out that city very much in the Blade Runner style. But it took me by surprise because it's not really a game. There's no real game mechanics to it. All you do is design a cyberpunk city. It's a huge amount of fun, and I found it very immersive. And the guy has been really good at doing updates, and people suggested an apartment mode where you could have an apartment within the city. He added traffic and all sorts of great stuff. So extra photo mode. So Discord was having a great fun with that one. We were sharing screenshots of Dystopica. It's an awesome game. What can I say? I really, really enjoyed it.
Did you hear about that through Discord or?
I think someone shared it in our game suggestions area, yeah, and I went and checked it out and thought, wow, this is awesome. I mean, I do hope he adds more to it, but overall, just a really, really fun experience, and I really enjoyed that game.
When you say it's not like a game, is there like mechanics still evolved? Like, do you evolve the city as you go, or is it just you literally build and
You just build a city, but the fun element is you can place billboards, you can every little detail you become obsessed with about where the traffic is going. I zoom out of my city, I take photos, and I think, no, that doesn't look right. You've got all the awesome holograms from the Blade Runner universe, things like that. It's just really fun. I mean, I created an LT gaming building in the middle of my city, so it's fun. You've got to use your imagination, and for me, that's what gaming is about. I love immersive simulations, obviously on the war side as well. Games that draw me in and make me feel like I'm part of what's happening. That's what really makes me tick. I love that, you know.
cool? I mean, it's been a year of a lot of city builders come out this year. I feel, and we featured
Yeah.
quite a few, maybe too many on the channel. I don't know.
No, I don't think we can ever feature too many, but they were a struggle. They didn't do the views that we hoped they would do.
Yeah, and some of them, I think, after a while, I'm like, it's all the same game. I'm playing the same game, just maybe in a slightly different time period.
And that's where I'm actually going to jump into my second game,
Okay.
Worshippers of Cthulhu, because it did things a little bit differently. And I liked what Creativo did with the Universe Sim, even though it took a long time to get there. I believe they're the publisher behind this game as well. And already they've hit the ground running, lots of updates. I love Lovecraftian horror vibes, so I'm a bit strange. I love cyberpunk, I love military stuff, and I love Lovecraftian horror vibes. So I cross a few different things. I tend to go off, I go off on these tangents where I'm obsessed with things for a little while. So yeah, that was a really cool game, and I enjoyed my time with that as well.
And that is a city builder as well, right? From my understanding, you tried to get me onto that one as well, but I kind of resisted because I didn't want to get hooked into another city builder. But it's
Yeah, it's unique in the sense that you can torture your own people in your city, and you can do carvings on their bodies and carry out rituals. It's dark, but it's a fun game as well. Now, I think it does need work. It needs a bit of work to get to where it needs to be, but it's certainly a game I'd like to keep an eye on in 2025 and see how it develops. A lot of potential, and you should definitely go out and check it out.
okay, cool. So I'm gonna bring up my first game. I think you've got way more on your list, so you'll probably speak up a bit more. But my first game is going to be one I actually picked up in the Steam Winter Sale and have been a little bit obsessed with. It's called Balatro. And it's a deck building roguelike game. But
Correct? Yeah, it's really cool.
it's based upon poker. But you don't need to know anything about poker to play it. It's not related to poker in a strong way at all. It is quite simply a roguelite at its best. You can do so many different variations, so many different mechanics. There's lots of different themed runs you can do, and it's the perfect game. And you're gonna appreciate this if you do have a newborn or a baby around, because you can jump in, you can jump out, and you don't feel that break in kind of being immersed in your run. I absolutely love it, and I play a lot of roguelites. I don't really feature them too much on the channel because they don't do as well, if we're being honest. But I really love this game, and I think it's one of the potentials for Steam Game of the Year, actually.
That's cool.
Did you play it?
I haven't played it, but I'm going to pick it up before the end of the Steam sale. You recommended it to me, and I was playing another roguelite. Now, that's very unlike me, but, I'll play anything, really. Menace of the Deep, and it's once again, Lovecraftian game, and you recommended Balatro to me, so I think I'll definitely check it out. And I mean, it's so overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Everyone seems to love it, so...
Yes, I actually bought Menace of the Deep after you recommended that to me as well. So
awesome.
Already done one run. Pretty fun game as well. It's again a Lovecraftian style.
I like the way that you can, and I can't remember if this is in Slay the Spire, but you can select cards for different situations as you progress. Did you see that mechanic?
So you progress through your run and you kind of cater, okay, what do I need? I need more cards for my deck, or I need to refuel so I can do extra actions later on, and so on. So it's a lot of fun, very customizable, and I think pretty unknown.
Yeah, really unknown. So definitely check that game out, wishlist it, buy it. It's only like €11 on sale. I know me and Tom get told off for using euros, but we both live in Europe, so not a lot we can really do.
Yeah, but a lot of people often say dollars or pounds, and we're like, we are British
people. The British people get annoyed with us. So like, two British people giving euros, what the hell is going on? But we've both lived in Europe for a long time.
Yeah, we are obviously British, but I'm not going to sit there doing a translation into dollars and pounds. Just it is what it is, and the discount's always the same percentage, so I don't really see.
And then people who are like, because sometimes we do list the Steam links in the description, but they'll be like, why didn't you link the games? It's like, literally, you could type it into Steam and the game will come straight up. How lazy are you?
And the reason I stopped doing it is quite simply something changed this year on YouTube with the description box, and it will often break your timestamps if you do the links.
That's right, yeah. And also, most people don't give a toss. They can type a name of a game into Steam.
I would like to think that it's not too much of a stretch to type Balatro rather than have to do one click. But hey, maybe I'm...
Let's not get started on pronunciation as well. Oh my god.
I'm probably butchering Balatro.
But you probably are. You're going to have people in the comments section of this video saying, it's spelled like this or said like this. Anyway, let's roll on from that subject. I think I did that in the last podcast.
Yes, so I'll let you throw out another game as you have...
No, it's you, because I did 2 already, so it's you again.
Okay, fair enough. I will then move on to a game I was very hyped about. Featured it on quite a few lists, including top of my upcoming RTS list, and it actually came out this year, and that's Age of Mythology Retold.
Nice.
Which is the remastered version of the classic by Ensemble Studios. Fantastic. It breathes fresh life into the RTS game that it was. It builds enough onto it, like the Age of Empire Definitive Edition. So, although you're reliving it, it's not exactly the same. It is expanded and there's more content. And it just feels modernized. And so you get that good mix of nostalgia, plus it's a lot of fun and innovative. And still, the Age of Empires series, the Age of Mythology series, they're all very closely related. It's still probably the best to do it in many ways, in my opinion. Okay. That formula's never really been perfected beyond those games, so I absolutely loved playing that.
Awesome. And is that on Game Pass?
It was on Game Pass, so it's a day one release on Game Pass. I think Game Pass is such good value. The amount of games I've been about to buy, and then, it's actually on Game Pass, and so I'm always checking against that now to make sure I'm not double purchasing games.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump into some other games, Indiana Jones and the Circle, I think it's called. I was playing that over Christmas. That was on Game Pass. Manor Lords came to Game Pass, although I had early access to that, which was great. And I think there was another one that recently came. Stalker as well, Stalker 2, straight onto Game Pass. So although the games tend to be a little bit console-y, they are good for just, over Christmas, you want to play games like Indiana Jones for that nostalgia, right?
Yeah, and it brings up a sensitive topic in gaming this year with the whole thing of coming out, Steam changing their policy that technically you don't even own the games on Steam. Yeah. I don't know how it is on Game Pass, if I'm being frank.
Oh no, you don't. Yeah, it's the same thing. You wouldn't own the games. You're just renting the service. But I guess the world is trying to move in that direction. I see why the companies are doing it, but I also really understand the consumer response to that. It's scary, right? It's scary. If Steam went bankrupt tomorrow, you'd lose all of your games.
Yeah, it's terrifying. The only platform which doesn't do that, I believe, is GOG, where you do
And
own the game.
well, I think you can download it offline, right? That's the whole
Yes.
point. So fair play to GOG in that sense. You got to give it. They do deserve that business. I mean, but look, at the end of the day, I own so many games on Steam that I can't be a hypocrite about it. I use the platform, I enjoy the platform. I mean, but it would be a blow if I suddenly lost all of my games. And crazier things have happened in the world with companies.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the crux of it or the details of it, but there is some sort of scandal with Valve right now and this Counter-Strike.
I was just going to bring that up. I was watching. What's his
CoffeeZilla.
name? CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla did a big expose on those loot crates. Now, I'm of a generation where that's not really a thing that would ever draw me in.
No.
I don't gamble. I've never been interested in gambling. I mean, I don't drink. I don't gamble. I've got no vices. I'm a super good boy. So, I mean, I don't do drugs. I missed one out there. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get the addiction to that. But I do play a lot of MMOs as well, and I understand that it was based on an old study years ago, a psychological study, that clicking things and opening crates does something to us. It gives us that endorphin rush. So they based a lot of games on that study, and it obviously works. And I don't know, I watched a bit of the CoffeeZilla video. I phased out and started watching something on the Mafia or something, I can't remember. But that's my obsession right now. But yeah, I there's a lot of scandal going on with Valve, and it's scary because a lot of us are just very normal gamers who just want to enjoy our games in our own world. We don't want to be part of all this stuff, And we even saw on our YouTube comments people going on about Steam, and they're like, we're not part of the problem. We just are making Steam videos because that's the main gaming platform.
And the problem that we have is Steam is the most dominant platform by a mile. It's not even close, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in many ways you have to turn into it, and we do Steam sale videos because they're very popular and people are looking for that content. I've done, for example, an Epic Game Store video before on a sale that got almost no attention whatsoever. So we have to kind of turn into that. But I am a bit concerned, like you, would I lose everything, thousands and thousands of euros of games that I've purchased over the years?
And that's why I don't get the whole Epic thing. I understand the Epic thing from the sense that when they buy exclusivity, that does hurt the consumer. I understand that. But I'm totally open to competition. And the amount of free games that company has given me, but you'll get people who just repeat these sound bites. They don't understand why they're saying it. They've no corporate knowledge or consumer understanding, and they just echo things and repeat it over and over. So I like competition, and I get that Epic don't do it right, but I want to see more of this competition. I think it's good, it's healthy, right? That it's not all just always based on Steam, and that's coming from someone who's all of my games are on Steam, and I buy them for the Steam Deck as well. So, I guess I'm going slightly against my own.
No, I think that's important. Competition is
competition
healthy for this, and right now it is a monopoly between, probably you could say, Epic and Steam have the market very sewn up. I cannot understand why GOG is not more popular. I don't like the Galaxy platform that much, if I'm being brutal. I struggle with it, but if I can buy a game through GOG, I try to do that rather than Steam, but it's so much easier on Steam. There's usually better discounts. It is what it is in a way.
The biggest thing for me is this thing. The fact that I will rebuy games to play them on the Steam Deck, and they work much better straight out of Steam. And to be honest, and we've both laughed about this before, and we better get back to our game soon, but it's the hours thing, right? I like to... You haven't played a game unless you've logged the hours on Steam. That's a big thing for me. I like to see it.
Have I played a game unless I got the achievements? I don't know.
There you go.
I don't 100% games like some people.
Oh, yeah, don't start. We slagged off poor old Matismo last year, didn't we?
Yeah, probably. All right, you take us away back to gaming, or actual games. What's your next one?
It's going to be Manor Lords. Not for the sense that I've played a massive amount of it since I covered it, but it was such a game changer for us on the channel when we covered that game. We'd never seen anything like that before in the numbers and the volume. I really do think it's an immersive city builder like no other. It is an excellent title. Did they slightly oversell it? Perhaps, and they got very defensive about that. We love Hooded Horse for the record. Great company, honestly one of the best to work with, but I felt like they got a little bit defensive when the ratings started dropping because the content isn't coming that quick. So it is definitely an amazing game. I love the premise, but I think it could have shipped with a little bit more. That's my only caveat.
I concur completely with that assessment. Upon release, the game did feel a little... It felt very vast, but quite empty with that, if that makes sense. Like, not like there was a huge amount with that. I didn't know about the defensiveness, to be honest. That's news to me, but I didn't really follow the game too much after the release. I played it a bit, but like you, I think I moved away from it.
Let me revisit that, right? Hooded Horse are awesome, but I did see a couple of interactions, I'm not going to say where or when, but where it was a little bit defensive about criticisms that were leveled at the game. You've got to take criticism, right? I mean, we take enough in the YouTube comments. Oh my God. But, you know, you have to kind of accept that, especially when it was legitimate. You said the same things to me about Manor Lords that I was thinking. So that was great. I mean, it could have shipped with more content. The updates are a bit slow, but I still think it's a wonderful title. And I enjoy the early access process. Something I'm into personally. I like watching games develop. Some of them fail. I don't really care. But I get why some people get very annoyed by the process as well because they want a finished product.
Agree. You're very pro early access. I think I'm more neutral because I can see both sides of it. I do think a lot of people sell promises, which then they realize technically or manpower wise they can't deliver on what is
money. Some of them can't make money from it, so they give up, and that's the capitalist society that we live in, right? Supply and demand. I don't hate them for that. I don't get personally hurt by it like some people. But I also have seen projects which have been abandoned completely as well.
Unless you sell the world and then deliver something different. So that's Correct. Where it gets the murky, and I kind of go against early access. But I notice a lot of big studios now are using early access as well. You know, I'm a bit on the fence about why they'd be doing it.
It has to be managed well. It has to be managed well. And I've seen a case of a particular game, I won't say the game, but where the guy ran out of money and then he was abused. I was in the Discord of that game and there was some lunatic in there just literally like threatening his family. It was ridiculous. And you could see what the guy just ran off in the end and couldn't deal with it. I mean... Yeah, we're all some people who are involved in these things might be slightly gentler, you know. Wouldn't be my approach, but I whatever.
Yes. We've had some fun interactions with game devs this year as well. I'd say the vast majority very, very favorable.
We have had some absolutely brilliant interactions with game developers, but you had a couple who just like went off the deep end.
Yes.
There was one guy, I covered his game and I used... You know what happens when we edit these massive videos. Sometimes you make mistakes, and I used some footage that was a little bit older. It was 2 years old rather than the latest footage. He had a meltdown on me in the comments about how dare I feature his game with the wrong footage. And I basically just said, look, go away, young man.
Yes, I was on his side. I thought you were awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never made any mistakes with footage, and I find that unprofessional, to be frank.
Oh, cheers. All right, there you go. Yeah, thanks.
It is what it is, right? When you're featuring hundreds of games in a year.
I was trying to help the guy, and I was super positive about his game, even though it was good, but it wasn't amazing. But I gave it a fair push, you know?
There's actually a whole interaction, which I don't think you're aware of, on the Steam sale RTS video, where I accidentally had some footage of Stronghold Crusader in on the Rise of Nations
I haven't seen this
video. And I just, on all the comments, people who mentioned it, I said, yeah, it was Luke. I had to let him go. It was hard before Christmas, but we've had to let him go from the channel.
Is this actually true?
This is actually true.
I'm going to kill you. I swear to God, next time I see you, that's it. It's on. As soon as I'm just going to start swinging.
It was funny, but I forgot to tell you. So
You're a
it's
snake. You're a right little snake, aren't you?
now now it's just
I'm gonna
yeah,
find that now and be like, what the hell?
yeah.
And who was involved? Anybody we know?
No, it's just random commenters. But
Fair enough.
people liked the joke and said, "Oh, it's real hard before Christmas, but it had to be done." You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm going to bring
Fair
us
enough.
back to gaming and bring
Awesome.
up my next title, which is Songs of Conquest.
Mm.
Absolutely stellar, I'd say Heroes esque inspired game, which came out, I believe, early this year, and then they just released a DLC, which I also featured. So I did a review upon the 1.0 release, and then I featured the DLC. A fantastic game. I think the pixel art looks great. It
Yeah.
is inspired by Heroes 3, but is built upon it, and I think it is now separating into its own avenue. It's not really just taking those same old themes and kind of changing them a little bit. It's actually building out its own lore. It's building out its own factions and its own way of building the cities in particular. Really like it. Cannot recommend it enough if you like turn-based strategy and high fantasy games. This is just a stellar game to pick up. I don't know many people who've picked it up and been like, "Oh, this is rubbish." It is a great game.
I I enjoyed my time with it as well. I have to say. I mean, I'm constantly distracted. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 today. I bought Uncharted. I'm just constantly distracted by games all the time. But yeah, Songs of Conquest is a really strong title. I enjoyed the aesthetic also. I think it's a really pretty game, right? It's a beautiful game, I think, in that sense.
Yeah, and it's the pixel art. I'm always somewhere in the middle on pixel art. I think it can be
Mm.
done very well. I also think it can be done very poorly. This is very much on the this side where it's done very well. It looks beautiful, looks great, and so kudos to them. And just a great studio. The interactions with them are always really. I think it's Lava Potion. Yeah, is the
Yeah,
dev
cool
brilliant?
people. Cool people. I'd just like to shout out, actually, while we're talking about cool developers, the guys who do, I think it's Cube Games, the guys who do Imperium Greek Wars, always comment on our videos. Great game. I can't wait to dive back into that. Actually, I really want to play a 4x strategy like that. So really cool developer, been very nice to us as well. So we like those guys.
Yeah, I've had a year of very much heavily grand strategy 4X. And this is kind of reflected in my picks. Songs of Conquest, I would put as a 4X,
Yeah, yeah,
essentially. Just a fantasy style one. Remember a very, I'd say, vivid interaction with another channel who I think you know who I'm talking about, who said this isn't a 4X style game when I was talking about Heroes.
yeah. It's a shame that he did that. But did you ever resolve that with him?
Yeah, I just said I don't care. Like I moved away from using Reddit in any capacity really this year, which
Yeah,
has
same
been
here.
very good for mental health.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
So I've just taken a step away from it, and okay, cool. Not too bothered by that. But I just find that odd that a lot of people don't consider those games 4X, but they are exactly that. But to bring it back to gaming, what's your next game, Luke?
I've done Worshippers of Cthulhu, right? I did that
You
one.
did.
So I think the other one, of course, is Sea Power, a major release this year. Great game. I think it has a very solid start. I mean, for me, still not on the level of complexity of something like Command Modern Operations. That's still the best military simulation, and I love that game. It's so awesome. I've been retaking the Falkland Islands many times. Great. I love it.
Retaking them as Argentina.
No, anyway, yeah, no, I love that game. But look, Sea Power is really cool, but it needs work as well. They released it pretty early. They hyped it a lot. There was the whole it went out to certain YouTubers who do ridiculous views that I don't believe are real. But hey, we'll move on. They covered that game early and they pumped it and they pumped it. And when I played it, it's definitely an awesome product. But once again, my plane started flying through trees, and it just broke the immersion a little bit for me. But look, overall, wonderful title. I can see where they're going to take it, how it can be really great. But they've got to get the work on it. But I think they also needed to get something out because, like the other game they have, Task Force Admiral, there seemed to be no news on it for years. They had to get something out, I think, to the public.
Yeah, and obviously you don't understand aviation. Planes can go through trees, of course. But yeah, I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't really comment too much on it. I can only kind of bounce off what you've said to me. Maybe it feels, no, I don't want to say empty, but it is, very vast game. A lot of things to do in it, but maybe the content isn't fully fleshed out yet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, the premise is great. It's like a modern fleet command, which is, every wargamer's dream, really, in that sense. And I just wanted to shout out Slytherin's Command Modern Operations because they've also been bloody good to us. They're a really cool company to work with. It's one of my favorite military simulation titles as well. But yeah, Sea Power, great game. Needs some work, but overall, obviously, every wargamer's dream.
Has it supplanted for you yet games like Cold Waters, which, obviously not Command Modern Operations, but I feel like Cold Waters is kind of the one that came before this, if that's fair to say?
Correct. Yeah, I think it's already there because you've got the whole, combined operations with the aircraft carriers, and you can command everything rather than just the submarine in that sense. So for me, I love aircraft and I love military aviation. So launching those phantoms off of the various aircraft carriers was amazing. F-14s, then even some of the planes on the other side that we don't like to talk about too much, but still fun and very, very fun to shoot them down.
Fair enough. So I'll bring it back to 4X, which is, as I've said, Grand Strategy and 4X have kind of been my biggest gaming time this year. And a game I also reviewed on the channel called Solium Infernum. Absolutely enjoyed the game. It is a 4X, but not in a typical conquer everything way. You can play it that way, but it's more political intrigue, backstabbing. You're obviously set in hell, so you're like playing in different archetypes of like, oh, I'm the Prince of Lies, I'm the manipulator, and so on and so forth. Really great game by League of Geeks, who I also enjoyed their first title, which was Armello. Just a fun game, well implemented, and I really enjoyed reviewing that one. I haven't been able to play it as much as I would like, because obviously the nature of the channel is that we have a lot of turnover of games. I have not as much as you, but we can do like 10, 15 hours in a game max, and then got to jump on to the next one. But a great game. I'm not sure you actually ended up playing.
I haven't played it. No, I haven't played it at all. So I'm going to rely on you for this one. I mean, I trust your instincts. You generally play a lot less games than me, but you play a lot of games that you love. But I would trust your instincts on that. I mean, we tend to agree, right? Like I picked up Baldur's Gate 3. I really love it, but it's not Baldur's Gate. And you kind of told me that.
Yes, it's Divinity 3 for me.
Yeah.
Which could be a massive pro for some people, could be a big con for others. Baldur's Gate 3, how did you get on with it in the end? Did you...
Yeah, I'm still playing it. So I decided to level up a little bit more before the Goblin Camp, and I'm going back to it. I've re-equipped all my characters. I was trying to play it too fast. I play so many games that my time with them, I'm like blitzing as quick as I can. So I've slowed it down with that one. I'm going back to it. I mean, it's quality. It's a brilliant game.
Yes. My gripe with it is the game I played most this year is Baldur's Gate 2. Yeah. Believe it or not. I had the most game time in that. And I just feel some of the storyline elements didn't match what I would have liked for the lore, and they have some characters that come back without ruining it for you. I don't know if you know who the characters are anyway, but they bring some characters back. I just feel they ruined the essence of Baldur's Gate 2.
But I did play Baldur's Gate 2, and Baldur's Gate 2 to me had a very distinct atmosphere. This just feels like high fantasy.
Yes, it's a bit more broad, generic, encompassing. I think it's much more appeal to the masses. Baldur's Gate 2 was dark, gritty. Not to say Baldur's Gate is very dark and gritty. You can play it like an absolute psychopath if you want.
Ooh.
Which is fun. I actually enjoy doing that a lot. But yeah, it just doesn't have the same vibe for me. But that's
all right. Cool. Where did we went on a tangent there? Baldur's Gate 3. But where were we?
We're on you. Yes, we're on you.
Okay. Cool. I've actually a few, and I'm going to round them up really quickly, right? So Warno, there was an expansion to that. I hated that game when I first played it. Came a long way, actually quite fun now and very enjoyable. So I appreciated Warno this year. Underspace, because we have to cover some space aspects. I think a really good indie space game. I played the remastered from Night Drive Studios, The Thing. If you want a retro shooter, which is pretty janky, but just a fun experience, and you like the movie The Thing, absolutely great. And then shout out really to X4 because they had a DLC this year, which took a bit of a misdirection, but I still love playing that game all throughout 2024. Started a few new games. So just wanted to have a quick rundown and wrap up what my great games were before we jump into what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and I'll wrap up with my game I've played a lot of this year, which is Age of Wonders 4. The reason I'm including it this year, because it came out last year, is they've done DLC this year, and I've been enjoying that game a lot. I've been actually enjoying the DLC. I'm pretty anti-Paradox's approach to DLC sometimes. However, the DLC quality is high. It hasn't dipped yet. I'm saying yet because in EU4 they started very well as well, and then they started to become just, unit packs basically for 15, 20 euros. It's great. If you're looking for High Fantasy 4X, I don't think you can really go wrong with this game. The level of customization is next level. It's really fun.
I'm thinking about picking it up.
You should.
Okay, cool.
You would enjoy it. And moving on now to looking forward to 2025, we're going to cover a few games that we're very intrigued by, excited for the release of. What title is kind of tickling your fancy next year?
Well, honestly, because it's very early next year, and I played a lot of the original, but more since the channel prompted me to, Space Engineers 2. Really excited to jump into that one at an early stage and learn it, because I kind of played Space Engineers originally and never then went back to it. So I really want to jump into this at an early stage.
Yes, I remember you did a list and you got a huge amount of flack with everyone going, Space Engineers? We're Space Engineers. Then you jumped back into it, I think, and now you seem super amped by this release.
It just shows the change for us on the channel though, right? Because like a year ago, I'd be like replying to those saying, oh, why don't you off? But now I'm a bit more chilled and I'm like, oh yeah, Space Engineers, cool, I'll check it out again. And I did, and it's awesome. I've been playing it on I gotta give this a shout out, my Legion Go. Massive screen, absolutely love it. Playing it on that, I've been playing it on my computer, I've been learning how to do it. It's tough. I have a very good engineering brain, if I'm honest. I'm not that practical.
Bit simple.
Right, that's it. Its gloves are off now, Tom. I'm going to reveal your deepest, darkest secrets on the stream.
Channel's deleted.
Channel's deleted, it's gone. But yeah, I'm not that engineeringly minded. Is that a thing?
No.
Drank too much. It's not a thing. But I really am looking forward to getting into a game early. If you get into a game too early and then you leave it and you have to relearn it, you can't be bothered.
It's the worst thing. If you play a game just when it's in early access and then you come back to it, that's almost the hardest thing in gaming. I cannot get back into those games. I've lost so many games because I was playing the early access and then I could never really jump into the 1.0 release because of I just couldn't be arsed, basically.
That's my problem. Like, I pick up a game, I've just bought another 6 games tonight, and I'm like, oh, Luke, come on, man. You're going to play all these games? They're all like 100-hour plus games. Like, I don't know. I've got a problem.
I have a tendency to be drawn towards really deep games, but I don't have the time to play them enough. So hopefully next year, I think a bit more balance in my gaming that way, so I can actually learn these titles and maybe bring a few to the channel as well. But cool. I'm Space Engineers 2. I'll jump in with I only have 2 on my list, and the first one is Heroes, the prequel that's coming out, Olden Era. Very excited by it. I made a preview on it maybe a few weeks back now, 2-3 weeks ago. I'm a huge Heroes 3 fan. I also love Heroes 2. I think the same could be said for yourself. They were like... I remember playing Heroes 2 a lot when we were kids.
Yeah, huge amount.
And I think we would go over to someone else's house and play it there. Jeremy, if you remember him.
Jeremy's house. We used to go to Jeremy's house and play some Heroes 2. I mean, badasses.
I didn't even like him. I just went because I like playing Heroes 2.
He's still alive, He's, he might watch this one day and be like, Tom, you're a knob.
Jeremy, I'm sorry, but never liked you. You were a knob. But But I liked Heroes 2, and I've always fallen in love with the series since then. I think the pinnacle for me is Heroes 3, so I'm
Yeah.
really intrigued to see if this is going to be a step up or a step down. I don't know. I'm honestly...
The community seems like psychotic, really full on, and even some of the other YouTubers, and I won't name them. The guy who attacked you,
Yeah.
you dared cover Heroes 3. I feel like
Yes.
going. I don't know. If I ever see you at a convention, you're getting slapped.
I love the Heroes community, but they can be, I think, very resistant to change. Maybe I'll get a huge amount of flack for this. I don't know. Don't really care, to be honest. But I'm seeing a lot of people trying to focus on very negative aspects. Oh, it looks like mobile graphics. Looks
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Judge it when it comes out. I mean, we don't know enough yet to really make a snap judgment, but people are making incredibly strong, sweeping judgments.
Ubisoft, right? And I guess I understand why people don't like Ubisoft, because some of the statements they've made, but once again, it becomes an echo chamber of people repeating the same thing because they think it sounds smart.
They are the publisher, but the studio is Unfrozen, who are behind behind Eratus, and they have a lot of industry veterans on the team. I think it's in safe hands. And I watched the dev stream where they recently announced Paul Romero, who's a very well-known games composer who composed the tracks for Heroes 3. He's on the team making the music for the game. They're doing all the right things, and it is clear if you watch any of their dev streams, they are huge fans of Heroes 2 and 3. I'm happy with that. They're going to deliver a good product, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, the Ubisoft thing is what it is. I get the criticism, but that's the world we live in. Someone has to put up the money to publish these games. That's the corporate reality. That's the world we live in.
I would love that franchise to come back to life and
yeah,
DLCs and expansions. I'm all for it.
And I'd love to see Ubisoft turn their shit around and actually, engage with the consumer, and become a great company. But I try and look on the bright side with it. But I understand it's difficult. They said some really stupid things. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And anyway. they have a huge amount of IPs, which I like.
They do. Agreed.
Your next game.
Yeah, okay. So a game I picked up at Christmas, which I want to see develop. I think it came out in 2022, but I really want to see... It's in early access. I really want to see it develop. It's a very little-known game called Aeronorth Renaissance, and it's a choose-your-own-adventure style game, which at the moment I'm massively into. So as kids, we played all the Fighting Fantasy books. We played the Fabled Lands series. I played some Lone Wolf, which I picked back up. And I bought a lot of these books recently, and I started playing them with dice and paper and stuff like that. Really, really fun. But this game is one of those books brought into a game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So really fun. It's very simple in its presentation, but a really great game, and I can't wait to see how it develops. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. A shout out to that developer and his other games. You should check those out as well. Some CRPGs, which are really fun.
Fantastic. I mean, I adore those books. I have all the Fabled Lands books next door.
Yeah.
The Fighting Fantasy ones, I think, are the most memorable to me. Some of those, they were so hard. I don't think I ever completed some of them. Like, even though we played them about 50 times, never completed
What was the one you shared with me, which was like super tough? If you got to a certain page, you didn't have the code, you were completely buggered.
Legend of the Shadow Warriors. It's like a jack-o'-lantern on the front.
Yeah.
Warrior on the front of the page. And then Chasms of Malice as well. It was just...
And a shout out, while I'm thinking of it, to the Fabled Lands game on PC. Really cool. Love it. Fantastic. Great music in that game. Great music. Love the artwork. Once again, another indie developer. Go and check that one out. I'll try and feature it again next year to try and see how it goes.
And then I'll come on to a game which probably is a joint one, to be honest. Broken Arrow, which they came out and gave a date for, which was June?
June, I think. Everyone was pissed off because they wouldn't talk about it, and I don't know. It was strange.
But this is Slitherine, a company we really love. Love a huge amount of their games. Very good friend of the channel, I would say. Always, we recently did a big giveaway of their game keys and stuff. And I think we're excited about this because, one, I love RTS games. You're more in love on the war game side of things. but I just think it looks very well put together. There's a lot of mechanics which speak to me, particularly where you build kind of a deck of your different different units together. I think it's going to hopefully be a smash hit for them and a big success. But I don't know what your thoughts are on Broken Arrow.
I'm very excited for it. I think it looks really good. I was a bit concerned about where the development was happening, but I think that is outside of that particular place, so that's good. But overall, yeah, I mean, I want to see a challenger to Warno, a game which I've really grown to love. Regiments is that game for the single player, but to have another player coming into the market, I think is absolutely awesome. It's just going to be great to play that game. I think it plays very arcadey, but it looks fun. I mean, I've had very little time with it. I was in one of the play tests. I didn't get much time or hands-on with the actual product itself, but I am excited for that game. I think it's going to be fun. And I love military war games and RTS games. I mean, we talk about this a lot. Is it really a war game? Not by the strict definition. It's probably more of an RTS, but I don't care about that stuff. I kind of treat everything as a war game. We're redefining the genre.
Yeah, we have a very broad take on wargaming. I don't think it should be kept to hex encounter. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And some of them attack me for that in the forums. They go nuts about it. But
your next game?
I've got a couple I'll run through pretty quickly. They are very niche war games. One is called RBM Studios Waterloo, which is a sequel to the Gettysburg game. I'm a tester for it as well. I absolutely love that this guy had success with his first game and he's bringing other games to market. Very simple hex encounter war games, but with a lot of replayability and very much like board games. It's simple but complex at the same time, if that makes sense in its mechanics. And you can play it over and over and over. So, and also he has another game coming out called Rebel Fury, which is an expanded version of the Gettysburg games, but with way more battles in it. Yeah. So absolutely hyped for those. Novalis, I talked about that last year. Cannot wait for that game. I will feature a what to expect in early January. I'll try and reach out to them, see if they come back with anything. Really psyched for that. Then the Wargame Design Studio, who I did a special feature on, they also have a Crusaders game coming out, so very excited about that. You can't find that on Steam. You'll have to go directly to their website. So that's the Wargame Design Studio.
But hey, you'll own the game.
You'll own the game forever, which is great, right? But there's so much I'm looking forward to next year. I've barely scratched the surface here. I just wanted to go through a few highlights. I mean, I could sit here all night rattling off games that I'm excited about, so hey.
Yeah. And I think one game I want to shout out as kind of like one I've enjoyed multiplayer-wise this year that we both played on Play by Email was Kingdom Dungeon Hero.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that game. Very good vibe and aesthetic. I liked the kingdoms. I liked how distinct and unique they felt. And there was almost like a vibe of mystery around the game. And, I'm going into a dungeon. What do I do? And I enjoyed that process. It was a lot of fun.
And Kraken's a really good guy, the developer. I've talked to him a few times. Very nice person. Really enjoy talking to him. We might get him on here at some stage, actually. That'd be fun. But yeah, cool game. And I think, was that your first ever play by email experience?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I used to play Sanctus Reach play by email, and I used to win a lot, actually, surprisingly. I thought I'd get hammered, but I actually did well with that game. So, yeah, I did a little bit of play by email before. It's a fun but very old way of playing, but I think our channel will appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think that was all the games we were looking to cover. Is there anything you want to add before we kind of wrap things up for the year?
It's just been a brilliant year. We've got so much coming in January, upcoming list. We want to break into RPG, maybe some open world stuff. Wargaming is going to be crazy. You're going to find the niche and best war games on our channel. I know that for sure. I think we're really good at highlighting those titles. I have some great things up my sleeve. If you are a wargamer, if you're into space sims, we're going to go full guns in that direction as well. We just want to expand and get bigger and bigger, and we really appreciate all of your support. And it's great come to the Discord, have a chat with us. We're all really friendly. We don't take any shit. So, I mean, you're in a safe space if you want to talk to us. That's just the way me and Tom are. We don't put up with any crap. So, you know, come and chat with us. You'll be in a good place to talk about war games and space sims and stuff like that. And we've some great members on our Discord who you know, really help keep the place going. We've even got a nice music channel now as well. We have a jukebox.
Yeah, and what I like is it's a very knowledgeable crowd. There's a lot.
Massively.
A lot to be learned, and a lot of good game suggestions that we get from the community, and then we can bring to the channel or kind of just bring into our own gaming experience. So yeah, I'm aligned with you. Hopefully next year, I'm hoping to make some more, I guess, what I would call editorial style content, where it's maybe diving into things which are a bit more abstract. So maybe underrated games or remakes of games that maybe were better than the original. Mods that have completely transformed games. So stuff that's a little bit
worst games of the year. Crap games. That'd be fun. Games that disappointed, or games I really like, games that were bad but are now kind of good.
Yes, 100%. And the one that comes to mind for me is Imperator Rome, where it was slaughtered upon release, and now with mods and stuff, it's actually everyone loves it. So it's stuff like this where you can go through games which are going to be just different genres, different takes, and some interesting gaming pieces for people. And I think on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments if you want to abuse us. You know, we're used to it. If you want to compliment us, that would be very welcome. If you want to give us some thoughts on what we've said, games we've featured, maybe games that you want us to feature or take a look at, let us know.
Yeah, and I think importantly, we do want to cover, you know, we know the backbone of our channel is war games and niche games and space sims, but we definitely want to expand out and do more for lots of different genres, especially where there's crossovers. So we're excited to do that. Write some nice stuff in the comments. We always enjoy that. And yeah, we do read a lot of the stuff, you know, especially the constructive stuff. We really enjoy it. I mean, the silly stuff, the stupid comments just goes right over our heads. We don't really care. So, yeah, we have fun. We sometimes share them with each other and have a laugh, right? When people are being knobs.
I think that's one of the strengths of having two people on the channel, is that we do have someone to bounce things off. Like, I can see how if you ran a channel by yourself and you were getting a lot of negativity or heat on something, it could really bring you down and affect you.
Yeah. You have to watch it. And I think also the fact that me and you aren't, you know, we have whole careers behind us in different fields that we work on. You know, YouTube is really, we're blessed to be able to have this side hustle, let's call it, and we appreciate it. And to be honest, a lot of those comments in the worlds that we mix in, they just, you know, they just, if someone said that to you in your workplace, you'd just laugh, wouldn't you? You know, it's stupid stuff. So it's fun to do that, and to kind of just have two of us helps for sure. Just before we go, I want to do a fun thing. What is there any other YouTube channels? Because sometimes me and you can take the piss a bit, and we're a bit harsh on other channels. What channels do you enjoy? Is there any that you watch on a regular basis?
So I enjoy, no, this is like a mega big channel, but I enjoy Spiffing Brits content.
Yeah, he's cool.
It's not like, it's completely the antithesis of what we do. It's like almost comedy.
It's good.
But you can tell that guy loves gaming, first of all, and he has a passion for it. Like the way he plays certain games, you know, he knows what he's talking about, basically. So I always applaud and appreciate that. In terms of smaller channels, I would say someone like no one.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
Do you have anyone to shout out?
The main person, I don't watch a lot of gaming channels. I live a little bit in a vacuum when it comes to gaming on YouTube. Yeah. And you come to me and you're like, Luke, I've seen this channel and this is what they're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. I really like Nookrum. I think he has a really cool channel, and I enjoyed especially, and I commented on his colonization live streams because that's a game that's really close to us as well. Great game. So I enjoy his channel a lot. There's a few others, but at the moment I'm mainly on a Mafia And I always watch Simon Dan, the Science Channel, debunking all the silly conspiracies out there in the world.
Yeah.
Especially when we play a lot of space games and we get a lot of those conspiracy comments on our channel about space is fake and stuff like that. It's like, you've come to the wrong place. Just go away.
Yeah. I mean, I like Nukrim too. If you want to find indie gems, that guy is always on the forefront of covering games. I'm like, where the hell did this one come from?
Definitely. And I think, moving forward as we get bigger, we pass 100K at some point, we should definitely collab with some of these people or get them onto podcasts and stuff like that. And it'll be fun. So please timestamp this, us being positive about other YouTubers.
Yes, will do. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up there. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And Luke, I'll let you see us out.
No, it's cool. I mean, thanks everyone. Great year. Stay with us. There's lots to come. Enjoy.